Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I did all my meditations earlier today, but I did not read from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations. So I thought that I would read yesterday and today's meditation on here, and then just kind of discuss it and tell you guys some feelings that I have about these meditations. Both of them are really, really good meditations. And one of the things that I love about this book, if you're looking for a good meditation book, is that it's very, very short. Like, they're not long. They have a quote in it, and then they have kind of like a little passage that they talk about, and at the end, they have like a thought for the day. And it's like not religious whatsoever. It's spiritual sometimes, but not religious. I think the one today is about spirituality, actually, the second one, yeah. But it's never religious, and I know for a lot of people that's a big issue. I really, really love this book. One of Alex's friends gave this to me at our bachelor party as a bachelor gift, and I was like, that is so cool that he like really knows like what I like and stuff like that. And this is one of the books that I recommend the most to people. So if you're looking for it, it's Linda Picone's The Daily Book of Positive Quotations. I have it listed in my Amazon shop. You guys can go check it out there. It's also It's also available at Walmart and Meijer. I've seen it all over the place. So, yesterday's, for January 31st, meditation was called Strength in Adversity. Adversity draws men together and produces beauty and harmony in life's relationships, just as the cold of winter produces ice flowers on the window panes, which vanish with the warmth. We see it after every major disaster, people opening their hearts, their homes, and their wallets to help others. On a smaller, more personal scale, friends help each other in times of adversity, and even strangers rise to acts of heroism when the situation demands it. We all have within us a desire and ability to help others. It's too bad that we forget this until adversity strikes. If I would help someone in a disaster, why can't I help someone right now when there is no disaster? What small thing can I do today for someone, even someone I don't know? And I think it's such an interesting, meditation, such an interesting thing to think about. And one of the reasons why I like doing this book in the morning, which I should have today, is that it kind of gives me something to think about throughout the day, or, like an action to have. And, I think it's interesting when we go through our lives and we interact with people, and, if somebody has somebody that's passed away and we go to the funeral, or we're there for them for those 3 or 4 days, and then after that we kind of distance ourselves. We kind of like, they're probably fine, they just want some space, whatever, and we have this ability to be really kind and compassionate in certain situations, but we don't always act that way. And so then what that means is that that's a choice, right? That we're choosing to not act that way. So when somebody in a certain situation acts very kind, compassionate, caring, loving, all that kind of stuff, but then another situation, they're completely the opposite over that, then what we realize is that is a choice, right? And it makes you wonder why in those situations we choose to act that way. And I think any one of us could probably say, we at some point in our life have been the nicest, caring, most compassionate person in the entire world, right? I know I have. But you know what I mean? Like, we've been that person that's been there for somebody, and maybe we don't want to pat ourselves on the back, but we know it. There have been moments where we have had those, those assets and those character traits. Equally, there have been moments where we have been complete asses too, And it's interesting why we choose to be, which one we choose to be at certain times. I think the more I focus on being peaceful and serene on a regular basis and seeking out spirituality on a daily basis, I choose to be more kind and compassionate and caring, humorous. I like to bring laughter to people in ways, and all that. But I don't get a lot of enjoyment out of being nasty and bitter. I just don't. Like, I feel like that comes back on me a lot, and I just don't really enjoy that. So, and I think the other thing is this. This is something that I heard years ago. I don't remember who I heard say it, but we go out, maybe have been Toni Morrison in an interview with Oprah, I think, but, we go out into the world. Well, two things. I do want to share the second one. We go out into the world and we're like very friendly to like the cashier at the grocery store or the Starbucks barista or, people that we see in the mall or at the gas station, right? But then we come home and we sometimes don't bring that same kind of energy into the home. Like, we're not as nice to our husbands or wives or kids, things like that, our parents, whatever. Sometimes we take it out on the people that we're closest with, probably because subconsciously we know they're not going anywhere, right? And you can look this up on YouTube. It's a fantastic video. And it's an interview that Oprah did with Toni Morrison about raising her kids, and Toni Morrison, the author. And there's a part in there where she says to Toni Morrison, like, you know, what do you think about, like, what do kids notice, or something like that. And Toni Morrison said, you know, when a child walks in a room, we notice things like, is their shirt tucked in? Are their shoelaces tied? Things like that. But when a child walks in a room, what a child notices is, do their eyes light up? Like, looking at us, do their eyes light up? Are they happy to see me? And do I have approval? Do I have validation from them? And I've always thought that was really interesting, because I think that is not something that is just specific to children. I think that's something that we carry with us in life, you know? I think whenever I go into a situation and I see a friend of mine, or I see family members, I mean, don't you want your family members to say hi? I mean, that's one of the things I miss the most about my mom. I could get tearful talking about this, is that my mother always, like, greeted me with huge hugs and kisses, and she was just always so happy to see me. And I think that we should greet people more often that way, with just, you know, absolute just awe in our hearts of how happy we are to see them, and kind of carry that, you know, around with us more, so that when somebody walks in a room, our eyes light up. And I think that we need to consciously think about that until it becomes something that it just happens, you know. And we're not always happy to see people show up. I know that, right? But, you know, 9 times out of 10, the people that we spend our lives with, we are happy to see, right? So, I don't know, maybe we need to show it a little bit more to the people around us. Let them know that we really do love and care about them, you know? All right, the next meditation is from today, February 1st. There's a little picture of of snow. Do you guys want to see something? Here, I know this is bad editing, I don't really care, but you guys, I don't need to show you a picture of snow, because look at my backyard right now. Do you see? We got like 7 inches of snow last night. It's beautiful, and it's all melted on the street, so it's fine to drive today, and you can just drive around and see it on the trees and stuff. Okay, I lost my place. Sorry. February 1st. Thinking and Spirituality by Alan Watts. Zen does not confuse spirituality with thinking about God while one is peeling potatoes. Zen spirituality is just to peel the potatoes. Before I get into this, you know, this is something that years ago I read parts of the book by the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm probably horribly pronouncing his name. But one of the things that he talked in there, and this was such a hard concept for me to understand, was that, you know, when you're driving down the road and you're stuck in traffic and you're listening to music, you know, and you're singing a song, like, what are you doing in that moment? Well, a lot of people will say, I'm driving to work, right? And his response to that was, no. I think the book was Peace in Every Step, actually. And there's a couple of his books that I own, but I don't know which ones I've read pieces of. I was going to read one of his whole books on here and talk about it, but I didn't end up doing that. But anyway, he talks in there about how many of us would respond to that and say, we're driving to work. No, you're singing a song. And that it's really about staying in the present moment. You know, and spirituality is really about each moment to moment to moment, and enjoying, fully enjoying each moment, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Okay. We rarely allow ourselves to be in the world without thinking about it. Seldom do we look at a beautiful sunset without turning to someone to say, isn't that a beautiful sunset? Worse, our thinking can distract or occupy us so much that we don't even notice the sunset in the first place. There is value in being mindful of the world and what it offers without comment or thought. To be present in the moment, feeling the warmth of the sun on our skin, breathing in the cool, crisp air, listening to the chirp, chirp of birds in the early morning. I will close my eyes and allow myself to be in the world, and the world to be in me, without trying to attach words to what I am experiencing. And I think that's really about just practicing that stillness that I talk about on a regular basis, you know, just being one with the universe. That's not even a God thing. That's not even a higher power thing or a religious thing. That's just a being one with the world, with nature. And, you know, you don't even have to do that in moments of silence, I guess. You know, you could be in the middle of Times Square and just close your eyes and feel the world move around you, you know? It's a pretty powerful feeling, don't you think? That we can, through our other senses, we could notice all of that. And I kind of really, really like that idea. There was something in here that I wanted to say. When it was talking about the being mindful of the sunset, and we tell somebody, like, did you see that sunset? You know, I think that we're in such a digital world now. You know, it's interesting to me, like my husband and I go to music festivals, and I do this too. I record a lot of the show, and I take pictures and selfies. Yeah, you have to do that, right? But it's interesting to me how many of, like, the younger generation literally sit with their cameras up the entire time. They don't really take in the show. They don't, there's a lot of them that do. I don't want to just generalize all of that, but there's many that just sit there the whole time filming the whole show, you know, or taking pictures the whole time. They're just oblivious to the music going on around them, or the fireworks, or whatever, you know? And I've really made a conscious effort, and my husband is somebody that he records constantly, right? But I've really made a conscious effort that in things that I'm doing, not just concerts, not just things like that or shows, you know, or music festivals, I've really made a conscious effort to be present in the moment more and not feel like I have to do, like if I take a picture, I'll take it either at the beginning or at the end of like a dinner or a get together or whatever, that I don't need to have, you know, photographic evidence that I was there, that this was part of my life. The thing is, it's kind of like a living scrapbook, so it's hard because, like, for example, with Instagram, like, I like Instagram. I love Instagram. I love to have pictures of what I did and places I went, you know, and that's fun to me to be able to remember that stuff. On Facebook as well, but I don't really use Facebook anymore. You know, but I think that stuff is fun to have on there. So it's hard because we feel split, you know? Back in the day, you know, it would have been like, let's take pictures and put it in the middle of a scrapbook. Do people even scrapbook anymore? I love the idea of a scrapbook. Just kind of call me. I won't be starting that probably anytime soon, but, you know, I think that if we get away from the digital age, put our phones away, you know, sit down and have a, this is something that we do on date night. We don't bring our phones out on date night, you know, sit down and just be present in the moment, you know, watch a television show, even though that's digital, without bringing your phone out every 5 seconds, you know, we don't have to be connected to the internet all the time. We're totally fine. And one of the things that I've done in the last 6 months is that, like, I only get on during certain times of the day. And the other thing I do, and this is huge, and I've talked about this on my vlog, is at the end of the day, you know, downstairs, I do my prayers, I do my meditations, I do my gratitude list, I do my affirmations before I go to bed. This is a big part of the end of my day, doing inventory, like 10-step inventory, which is taking a daily inventory of my life. And then I go upstairs and I do my like skincare ritual and like this, put on this hydrating, I know you guys are like, who cares? I do this hydrating face mask, I leave on overnight, brush my teeth, do all that kind of stuff, take my contacts out, and then I get into bed and after I've set my alarm. Before I go into the bathroom, I plug in the phone. Like, I set my alarm on the way up, I plug in my phone, and then I go in the bathroom, and when I come out, I get into bed. I don't touch my phone again. Rarely, like sometimes I will pick it up to like put something in my notes, but I would say honestly that probably only happens like once a month. Like, and now I've learned that if I really am pulled to like, okay, I need to write this down or whatever, because back in the day I could get really, you know, defocused, and then I was like, couldn't fall asleep because I had a million thoughts going through my head. Now I'm just like, I cuddle with the dogs, I cuddle with my husband, and I'm just like, you know what, if I don't remember it tomorrow, it wasn't really that important to begin with. So, but it's really important for me to disconnect from the cyber world before I go to bed. And I have heard studies that say that it's much better for your sleep if you relax your mind before you go to sleep. So I think there are all these ways for us to try new things, you know, as we approach the world, you know, bring our compassion and our kindness that we give total strangers into our own home. I think that's one thing that we can do, you know. I think we can choose being kinder, more compassionate, loving people over choosing to be angry and bitter and negative and toxic and chaotic to the world. I mean, those are choices, you know. I think we can also be of service to other people, you know, and help out when we want to, whether it's buy somebody a coffee or help them clean off their car when there's snow on it, or, you know, get somebody's mail, or even just say hi to somebody that's walking down the street. Like, we never know when somebody's walking down the street that might, you know, make their day. If you just say, hi, how are you? Oh, I like your sweater. Or, you know, your hat is cute. I like your hat, you know, or something like that. And, you know, I think that's the big part of it. And I think the second part of it, you know, is, you know, choosing peace and serenity over things, staying in the present moment, practicing the present moment, practicing, you know, how much I really enjoy this dinner that I'm at with my friends, or this dinner that I'm cooking, or sitting here with my children. You know, it's interesting to me that like all of my friends and all my relatives, as their kids like graduate and get older, they'll say, I can't believe we're here, you know. My cousin's son just turned 18. I remember the day that he was born, you know. I have a picture of my mom with her holding him. They were best friends when he was really little, before my mom passed away. They were best friends. And, you know, so my cousin Caroline the other day, she was like putting all these pictures out of him and stuff like that. And I thought, man, time flies by just like that, doesn't it? And how much time do we spend not really living in the present moment with those people? But then we're quick to say, well, time goes by. January went really quick. 2018, can't believe it's gone. Christmas seems like it was so long ago, you know? But do we really stay present in those moments and enjoy them? I know that's something I need to work on. I know that I need to disconnect from the cyber world and stay more focused in just the real world of today and enjoy it a little bit more, because I do love the internet. I do love all of the social media apps. I mean, I have fun with it, you know? But I think it's all in moderation as well. I want to interact with real people. Like, that's important to me too, you know? Like, that's the priceless part of living a life. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you are somewhere where it's cold, stay warm, cozy up, watch a little TV this weekend. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.